come here to chew bubble gum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubble.
Good evening, everybody. This could be a great night tonight. It is August the 14th. Almost the entire half of the month of August is gone already. Done, boom, gone. Year of our Lord 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct. Right here from the SHR Media Network. You got a belly up to the bar. We've kept your seat, and it is great to see you back. Biff is going to be your bartender. Tonight he pours with the best of them. And the lava lamp is in fact lighted to my left, your right. Now that means this. You can listen and chat just like a regular radio show at shrmedia.com if you want to watch the show. Go to the SHR Media YouTube channel or go to the SHR Media group Periscope page. If you follow us on Twitter, Twitter will already have notified you of the Periscope thingy. That's how cool that is. We don't water our drinks just like we don't water our conversation. Politics, religion, crime, culture, economics, race, sex, science, law. We talk about it all here at the Saloon. Nothing is sacred. The speech is free, but the booze is not. All that we ask is that you flush the toilet, jiggle the handle, and don't forget to tip your waitress. We have got some intriguing things up tonight, and it is with a heavy heart that I hope that this little thing right here, this is my smartphone. And we're going to find out just how smart it truly is. Because in the first hour tonight, I have Kurt Schlichter on the show. And in the second hour, we're going to talk about basically how the state of California wants to normalize and then excuse murder. Hey, the state of California already excuses rape, many forms of assault, theft. Hey, you can steal till your eyes are blind here in California. No one really gives a crap. So in the first hour, we're going to be talking to Kurt Schlichter, and I have an article that I just dredged up, I should say, just for him. I found this, literally. This is about 2 minutes. It's one of the reasons I was a little late. I found this about 2 minutes before the show. So, tell you what, let's call Kurt. Let's see if he answers. I got to tell him about this article, because I think this could be very interesting. Kurt Schlichter.
Hello.
How are you, sir? And
hey, I'm good.
Welcome tonight.
Well, thank you.
It's great to have you here. Now, I had this introduction all planned out for you. I mean, it really is a grand...
Hey, can I get a different phone number?
What's that? Are you there?
Hello. Yeah, I'm here. Can I give you my landline? Because I'm fading in and out of my cell.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you send it to the Twitter message, I'll pick it up off of that.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, sir. All right. So, what did I tell you? Okay. So, we're going to... Folks, if I said something similar to, this is just my fate, would I be correct? And I think, yeah, I'd be correct. Okay, it's incoming. I see it. All right. Anyway, coming up in the second hour, have I got... oh, wait, here we go. Let's see if this works. Okay. I think this ought to do it. Let's see.
Kurt.
There we go. Okay, well, thank you for doing that. I appreciate that, since a landline is certainly going to be a lot better than a cell phone, especially if you're losing power or something like that.
Exactly.
So, Kurt, number one, thanks for taking the time tonight to be here. And I had this great lengthy intro for you, but then just about a minute or two before I came on the air, I found this article. I mean, this is just damn beautiful. This is gorgeous. And I'm going to read it to you, and you're going to think to yourself, this is a gorgeous article, and this is why. Because it typifies all the leftists, what I call the LDAM, the leftists, the Democrats, and the American media maggots. Now, it would not shock you. God, Kurt, please, I hope you're sitting down. Before
I'm
I read,
sitting.
Okay, before I read
I'm
this
sitting.
article. Oh, great. This is from the Daily Beast. And that's kind of a clue anyway. And the article, the headline goes like this. Christine Hallquist becomes first transgender gubernatorial nominee in history. Okay. Well, let's read the article. It says, Christine Hallquist passed the first major hurdle in her quest to become the nation's first transgender governor on Tuesday night. This is the best part. This is delicious. The former energy company CEO defeated 3 candidates, including 14-year-old Ethan Sonneborn, to capture the Democratic gubernatorial nomination in Vermont. So I'm sure what's going to happen at the end of the night, what's going to happen is that, Christine is going to say, I kicked the living slats out of that stupid 14-year-old. I defeated him so resoundingly that his grandparents are going to feel what I did to him. She bested a 14-year-old. You know what, Kurt? That's what I call bare-knuckled fucking politics right there, mister.
Take that, teenager.
That's right. Take that. Boy, did I show you.
The worst thing is he got beaten by a girl.
Oh, my God. I'm sorry. I couldn't help but not share that with you. Okay, now I'm going to formally introduce you just to the folks, maybe all one of you who don't know who Kurt Schlichter is. And
why are you catering to that loser?
I know.
I mean, what kind of freaking Gibo doesn't know who I am?
I know. But
probably a Weekly Standard writer.
Oh, by God. Jesus. And of course, that wouldn't happen to be anybody that takes any of those wacky cruises, would they? No, it wouldn't be anybody like that. No, of course not. Nah.
No, the cruises are cool.
No, they are. I like cruises. I've cruised a couple of times, just not with those people, because why would I waste my damn time? But that's a story for another time. Ladies and gentlemen.
Everybody, let's meet Bill Crystal on the Lido deck.
Right. And then
we can go down into the hold for a game of Dungeons and Dragons with the other version.
Right, with his good pal George Will. What a great team they are. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are honored to have a mind-altering conservative in the saloon tonight. He's a man who needs no introduction, which is why I'm setting it up as a rather lengthy one, though there have certainly been rumors and threats of him around here, and I had an entire hour of a commemorative show because, quite frankly, Kurt Schlichter, I like your stuff and the way you write, but I've never actually had you live in the saloon until now. So
I've never been on. Yeah, I don't think I've done your show. I know you did Matt Badley, who's a friend of mine.
Yes, Matt is a great dude, former alcoholic, great Marine.
And another former woman. So that's...
Wait a minute. Why am I finding out about that now? He didn't tell me anything about that. Oh, my God. Anyway, Kurt is a veteran. He's a retired U.S. Army colonel, full bird colonel, an attorney, a commentator, a senior columnist for townhall.com. You got to go quick like a bunny to his hashtag, caring, and because it's not exactly quite that. He does, however, tend to push the boundaries of discontent and truth and honesty and stark brilliance, which is why you need to read him. He drills into your skull in a fashion that those simpering fopdoodles, just like George Will and Bill Crystal, the sniveling jejune jackanape swine, they wish they could, period. Kurt's default PC meter is just like mine. It's set to bullshit, and that's also another reason why I read him. And I must say and insist, I say that in the most assuring, assuaging, and palatable way possible. He's an attorney with his own law firm, Schlichter and Schoenack LLP. He is a prolific writer and an author, one of the primary reasons that we're here tonight. He's had his works published in the LA Times, New York Post, LA Daily Journal, San Francisco Examiner, Business Insider, Loyola Law Review, just to name a few. And Kurt can be found usually on a whole bunch of shows. Headline News, CNN, Fox News, Fox Business.
Not CNN anymore.
Well, okay.
Yeah, I got Sideways with Don Lemon.
Oh, no. No,
yeah, not that kind of Sideways.
I know, but I mean, I can't imagine that you crossed.
I know,
you
right?
were at loggerheads.
Who would have known when I said that Bill Clinton was turning his intern into a humidor that Don Lemon would take offense? What's up with that?
No.
Don told me I couldn't say something.
Oh.
So you can't say that. I was like, oh, yeah? Yeah?
Yeah, guess what?
Oh, yeah? You don't think so?
Yeah.
You think that's going to work, you little bastard?
Yeah. Well, not really. That's okay. I'm kind of surprised that he didn't really just cut you off like he's done a lot of the other people.
No, he did cut me off.
Okay, and then...
Go onto YouTube, put Kurt Schlichter, Don Lemon, and cut the mic, and the whole magic is there. Yeah, he got a little upset with me, which is fine with me because now I don't have to drive an hour and a half into Hollywood to go to this shitty.
God, already it's like 5 minutes in, and I'm happy as hell that I got you on the phone.
Oh man.
This is the gift. This crap like that is just it's the gift that keeps on giving. For God's sake, the other thing you did is you've performed stand-up comedy.
I did.
Which actually, if you think about it, is one of the most damn difficult jobs on the planet.
No, it's actually really easy, but the fucking comics. Am I allowed to swear?
Oh, this is an internet radio show. The FCC...
Okay, the fucking comics will tell you comedy is hard. Comedy's not fucking hard. You know what's hard? Airborne School is fucking hard.
Ah.
Okay? Comedy is freaking easy. All you gotta do is be aware of the audience and be funny. It's not that fucking hard.
Well,
get up there, tell a freaking joke, use K sounds, rule of threes, funny at the end, don't step on laughs. It's not that difficult, but they make it difficult because they're fucking comics. God. And our problem with conservatives, no conservatives are funny. Very few conservatives are funny.
Well,
cool ones, the Andrew Breitbart crew, guys like you, guys like me, we're funny. People like George Will. Oh well, I never. Oh.
Well, he's another pearl clutcher and heart clutcher as far as.
Oh, let me tell you, everyone go out buy my book, Militant Normals, coming October 2nd. I've got like a whole chapter just bagging on George Will. I mean that fucking guy. Him and his bow tie. His sexual inadequacy.
That's like asking for it, okay? You wear a bow tie in front of a conservative. You can do that.
It's like a big sign that says, "I've never known the loving touch of a woman." I mean, jeez.
Okay, that wasn't funny. Okay.
Oh God, I am so sick of being lectured to by my fucking inferiors.
No kidding.
You haven't, dude. You have not lived. Okay, till you've been on Twitter and had some fucking 26-year-old who got a fucking degree in English, and he's fucking lecturing you to read a book. And it's like, all I can think of is, when I was 26, I was a fucking man, and I was leading fucking soldiers in a war. You're writing for the goddamn Free Beacon. If I was you, I would literally take a gun and blow my fucking brains out. I'd look in the mirror and go, I'm nothing. Dear God, what have I done with the last quarter century? Holy fucking shit.
Yeah, but do you think they have even one molecule of introspection? No, of course not.
No.
Not one leftist has that. Not one leftist has a molecule of a sense of humor. Jerry Seinfeld and all people like that have said, you know what, not just no, but hell no, we're not doing any more comedy tours on any of the campuses anymore, period. End of statement.
Well, I think that's giving up. And I think that it's easier for them. I mean, they got a lot to lose. But, what's great is there's this whole market now for actual people who speak the truth. And you see that with guys like Ben Shapiro. You see that with a lot of other people, like guys like me, who get an audience because fuck them. I'm going to say why fucking please.
Exactly.
I'm going to say why fucking please every single time.
Why
if you don't like it, bring Kevlar.
Yeah.
to shut me up.
Or
Let's
just,
go.
turn off the radio, walk away, read a comic book, go back down to your basement.
Well, see, of course they don't do any of that. They have to shut you up. They have to affirmatively stop you, because what we do, what you do, what I do is subversive, because we hold out the possibility of resistance to their cultural monopoly. We hold out the possibility that you don't have to buy into the bullshit, and that you can say no and you can laugh at them. Laughter is freaking like water. It is corrosive.
Oh,
you know how if you get water in your walls, it destroys the drywall, destroys your hardwood floor? I know, because it happened to me a little while ago. That's what laughter is to these people. They know how dangerous it is. We are dangerous. That's why they hate us.
Well, I had this guy on my show not long ago named Ralph Benko, and he is like the president of the Alinsky Center, like that Alinsky, Saul Alinsky. And what I said to him was this. Dude, I've read your book. I've read it a number of times. I know how it's applied. And I said, what would occur, and what would keep anybody from using that thing as a tool and then applying it against the left? And he said, well, actually, nothing would keep you to do that. And he said, by the way, were you aware that of the 12 items that are in there in Rules for Radicals, Trump has used about 8 of them already? And I said, upon reflection, I think you're actually correct. And that was,
I think Trump's used about 10 of them.
That very well may be. By the way, continuing with regard to your background, you were a veteran of Operation Desert Storm, just like you said when you were 26, Operation Enduring Freedom in Kosovo. You got your master's in strategic studies at the United States Army War College, and you took your JD at the Loyola Law School. And so with that introduction, I definitely want to say, again, thank you for taking the time for being on the show tonight. And
I understand that it's a great honor for you. And I appreciate your awe. It's well deserved.
It is. Hey, listen, if I can't tell the truth around here, who the hell can?
Well, somebody's got to.
Hey, I got the very first, which is probably, this is the crux of the biscuit, perhaps, for the entire show. This is the fulcrum around which the rest of the questions will be crafted, and that's this: how's Bitey these days?
Oh, Bitey's right here.
Is he really?
He's gnawing on a little toy fox, very gently, not ripping or anything, just gnawing a little bit. Bitey's cool.
I also saw a picture that you had on your blog, on Twitter, where he's with a white cat, and they look like they're good
No,
pals.
that's somebody else's. I get a lot of pictures of other people's creatures.
Okay, and so it was photos.
I have found that I will get exponentially more hits, like if I'm saying, hey, I'm going to be on Fox or whatever, and I put a picture of Bitey, and I'll get like exponential. The producers will actually say, hey, man, can you promote the show and, maybe a Bitey pic?
Yeah, bring your dog.
All right. Bring the dog. Everyone likes the dog.
Yeah, that's fine.
I once broke up with a girl because the dog we were living together and the dog died, and I was like, I don't really like you that much, but I like the dog.
The dog was
bad. It's over.
Yeah, the dog is way cool. I'm
Moving
sorry.
on.
Yeah,
the dog was cool.
Yeah, I'll find
you? Not so much.
NSM, right? Got another very important question for you. On the Greg Gutfeld show, do you think that Kat Timpf secretly wants to put fishnet stockings on Tyrus?
Oh, there's an image that I did the Greg Gutfeld show.
I know you did.
Fact.
I know you did.
Greg Gutfeld is from San Mateo. So am I. And in 1980, the early 80s, when we both lived there, he was at the rich kids private school, and I was at the rich kids public school. And it was about a quarter mile away. And we probably passed each other cruising up and down El Camino Real a lot. But I didn't know him, but I always thought it was kind of weird that we both had this kind of similar sensibility from a suburb of San Francisco, where the people got kicked out of San Francisco went.
Yeah, well, that's a story for another day. My entire second hour is basically going to be about AB 1810 and essentially how California wants to normalize and excuse murders. That's here. I mean, I could go into all sorts of stuff about how ridiculous California is.
California's the worst. It just, now they want to undo Prop 13. Sounds brilliant.
Yeah.
Just good plan. Good plan.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent thinking, guys. That's super smart. Only socialism could screw up a state like California.
By the way, just out of curiosity, where'd you find Bitey? Was he a rescue, or did you purchase him?
Bitey was a rescue. Bitey looked like a little miniature golden retriever, and
God
I was like,
bless
hey,
you for that. That's
look at this doggy,
great.
and because it was at a little rescue thing, I said, look at this doggy. And my wife goes, should we foster it? And I said, no. So we did, and it just stayed. It got, you know, it used to be very angular, but it's kind of filled out a little bit.
Yeah, with food, we'll
Bitey
tend
doesn't
to
have
do
a
that.
gender. I don't want to misgender Bitey. Bitey raises a lot more questions than Bitey answers.
Right.
So I'm not. I don't want to put labels.
No. Why the hell would you want to do that? You might
wouldn't.
injure his psyche from such a young age. You wouldn't want to damage him in that fashion.
You know, Bitey has a lot of personal issues.
Well,
Most of them involving biting. It's now biting at me.
don't we all? People may not realize that along with a columnist, and you've been writing for a real long time, that you're an author. You've published so far 7 books. 5 of them are nonfiction. And
Really?
2...
That many?
Yeah, because I
I'm
went...
trying to think back. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. I went back and
Yeah.
looked at Kindle and whatnot. You started writing in 2012, and
I started writing books then. I started writing in like 83.
you've got 2 fiction books, and that's initially what I wanted to talk to you about.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Was that they resonated the holy bowling balls out of me. And the first one was People's Republic back in September of 2016. And the second one was Indian Country in June of 2017. Once I read the first one, People's Republic, and then I discovered that there was a second one out already, I went quick like a bunny and bought a copy of that. And the other deal is that you're about to have another, now this is a non-fiction book, published, like you indicated, on October 2nd, called Militant Normals. Okay, because I read your articles. I think I know what it's about. But for the uninitiated amongst us, can you give us a glimpse into that book and tell everybody what, in your fashion, what is a militant normal?
It's a sexy cavalcade of erotic fulfillment. Or...
Involving butter?
Well...
Or plastic sheets and Wesson oil?
Well, there's a lot of vinyl.
Yeah, okay. I knew I liked you for a reason.
But this way, Bob Crane would go, "Oh my!" But the Militant Normals is really about the rebellion that kind of Trump symbolized, of normal people who look at the elite and say, you know, you were supposed to be kind of working for us. We understand you're going to skim off the top, right? We get it. You're going to, you know, you're going to get power, you're going to get prestige, you're going to get a little cash. That's, you know, that's what you get when you run our institutions for us, and we get that. But we don't want to run them. We want them run for us. We want to go live our lives, focus on our families and our jobs and our churches and our soccer game. Well, not soccer games. That's fuck soccer.
Yeah, and
but,
you can't even
you
say
know,
football.
The problem is not only have the elite been incompetent, they have failed to perform adequately in their task. They've decided, moreover, that they hate the people that they're working for. Now, you know, we've had an elite that screws up before. And, you know, every once in a while the normal people rise up and there's kind of a, you know, earth-shaking election and something changes and things get calm for a while and the elite gets back to doing its job. We've never really had an elite that actively hated normal people the way our elite today does. Our elite hates the people it's supposed to, you know, that it has its power and position handed to in order to serve. It confuses itself with being the master when it's really the servant, and it has nothing but contempt, and it's just and the people just aren't standing for it anymore, and that's how you get Trump.
You get Trump like Carter, like we got Reagan after Carter. Now, I'm not trying to equate Trump to Reagan, but the process is similar. You have to have a raving dipshit in order to get someone that's going to be a little bit better. And thank God for that.
I mean, you know, I was around when Carter failed and Reagan took over. And you got to remember the 70s. Yeah, everybody looks back on the 70s as this kind of like funny polyester age, you know, with disco dancing and
bell
flares.
bottoms. Right.
bell bottoms. And it was really a grubby, grimy time. It was not a prosperous time. Interest rates were like 18%. The United States was losing influence around the world. We felt like losers.
Well,
and Donald Trump said, Donald Trump, I was Freudian slip. Ronald Reagan said, look, we're not losers. And he said, you guys are not losers. We are winners. And the people responded to that. And sure enough, by the time he got out, we had destroyed the greatest enemy this country's ever faced. And we did it without firing a single shot in 8 years. I mean, it was remarkable. But he, Ronald Reagan had no doubt we could do it. And the American people responded. And Trump's not unlike that. Trump's like, well, there's nothing wrong with you people. If we just get these idiots who are running things off your back, you'll do fine. And he with the regulation changes and everything else, he's done that, and we're starting to do fine.
What a shock! What a shock! You're
right
about the 1970s, though. The New York City, for example, under Dinkins and a couple of the other leftist pieces of crap that were there, New York City was at essentially its worst, encountering brownouts, blackouts. I mean, this is what you get, folks, when you turn your urban rat cages for so long over to leftists. And then finally you get black Americans who are saying, you know what, dude, I am out. I am so out. I am #walk away out. That's how out I am.
The numbers on minority Americans who are just looking at Donald Trump and going, maybe he's not so bad. Maybe all these lies. I got two guys offering me jobs. I get to pick what job I want as opposed to not having any job at all. Look, I'm hiring lawyers right now. I'm having a heck of a time. It's a very good market for everybody, and I, as an employer, am having to pay more money than I did. I'm competing. This is how the market's supposed to work.
Yes, capitalism. It's a capitalistic society.
But the thing is, the beautiful thing is, it allows individuals a chance to have value. When nobody's hiring, you don't have any value. You're just a cog. But when we're competing for jobs, suddenly you're valuable. People have to, you've got options. And of course, the response of the Democrats and the establishment Republicans is, let's import a bunch of people to get back to usual. Because remember, things should serve the elite.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, who is the normal American for whom uncontrolled legal and illegal immigration is a outright benefit?
Well, I'm sure that.
Yeah, I understand the benefits. I married a legal immigrant. So, yeah, that's why I always love when I'm told, you hate immigrants. Yeah, I hate them so much I'm married when you fucking retard.
That's odd, because in 2007, I did the same darn thing. I married an Hispanic woman. Damn me for doing that.
I'm the only Anglo in this house.
God, no kidding. That's true. And I'm talking about the two dogs either. They're not Anglos.
They're Chihuahuas.
Yeah. So having said that, the only thing that Democrats have left in their corner is, I don't think they have any alternative. They've got to go, because they finally have figured out that black Americans are no longer the monolithic group, and they're doing the exact same thing that they never wanted any people to do, is to think for themselves and realize that they have actual worth and they don't have to continue to wear the chains that the Democrats have placed around them.
Trump competed for them.
Yes.
Trump's gone out there and essentially said, "Look, I want your vote."
Yep,
and
exactly.
And suddenly it's like, whoa! And the Democrats are like, but we've been so nice to you, and all I can think of is, okay, great. What have you done for us lately? Yeah. What have you done? Is like, I mean, if it's so great, you won't have any problem. Why are you panicking?
Okay, folks, we're listening to Kurt Schlichter. It's the bottom of the hour. We got to go to the break. When we come right back, I want to ask Kurt about what it was that compelled him to write Militant Normals. Now, to me, it initially sounds like kind of a repository of your articles from the past year, but I want to get back into Militant Normals Folks, continue listening. We're talking to Kurt Schlichter, one of the greatest conservative minds of our time. You're listening to the Bloody... You're listening to...
God, what the hell's wrong with it? Kill me!
You're listening to the Bloviating's episodes. I can't even pronounce who the hell I am. On the Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct from the SHR Media Network. Don't go anywhere, pretty please.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On SHRmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. SHRmedia.com. Be there.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m., Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through SHRmedia.com, HighPlainsTalkRadio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on BlogTalkRadio.com. There's
No surrender, ever.
because truth is not always pleasant.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics,
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
and all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events? All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on SHRmedia.com.
Hey, who's going to take Sean's chair?
I'll run the buttons if you want.
The what?
The slider
what?
thingies.
The
Those
what?
things.
We have those?
Yeah, right over there.
Where?
It's on the board. That damn technology.
Fucking technology.
I know. What are we going to call it?
Call what?
The show.
What?
The show.
What show?
The new show, Wednesdays. Every Wednesday on SHRmedia.com. 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. Sackheads.
Against tyranny.
There you go.
Against tyranny.
I like that. Let's do it.
You guys are porked.
Hello, I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you are listening to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show live and direct from the SHR Media Studios. We are broadcasting no less than 2 miles away from the locus of evil on the entire West Coast. Yes, you heard that correct. We are broadcasting in the SHR Media Studios, which are 2 miles away from the capital of California. Sacramento. And that building late at night right about now, if you stand outside, you can smell the sulfur and you can smell the brimstone issuing forth from that evil capital. Folks, we're talking to Kurt Schlichter tonight, a Renaissance man, if you will, and he's got a new book coming out October 2nd. It's called Militant Normals. And so I was going to ask Kurt, tell me, sir, what is it that made you want to write Militant Normals?
Gosh, I just think it kind of sums up a lot of what I've been writing about at Town Hall, and I kind of wanted to comment on what was going on, in the world, and create kind of a framework for thinking about it. Also, I wanted the publisher to hand me a big check.
Nice. That's the capitalist way. That's what you do. That's what you're supposed to do. Just as we know, and Matthew Betley proved earlier, nothing exceeds like excess, and me too as well. Kettle One, thank you. Nothing succeeds like success. And kudos to you for all the hard work that you've done, because that's what you get in a capitalist society. You want to sit on your arse and do nothing? Hey, go downtown Sacramento or go to San Francisco and watch all the people in the BART stations hanging upside down with needles sticking out of their arms. Or you can be productive and make money. Imagine that. The other thing that I'd like to discuss with you tonight, if it's okay, is the two fiction books that you have. People's Republic, like I said, I think that came out in 2016, and Indian Country, which came out in 2017. And the reason I wanted originally to talk to you about that is because I think they are two of the most prescient books on the market today. But I want to tell people this. Here's the gig. In these books, the U.S. has been like fractured into essentially three regions, distilled to the blue and the red. Blue controls the left coast and also controls the northeast and over like around the Great Lakes region. The red controls basically everything else, kind of in the middle. And both of these books feature your protagonist, Kelly Turnbull, who also has a military background. And this was, I think, before, and you're going to have to correct me on this, before certain elements advocated before for the active, this is akin. How stupid this state is. Three people actively advocating for the fracturing of California into three states, which was nothing more than a leftist senatorial grab. Say that 3 times, folks, because it's absolutely true. So, as with Militant Normals, what was it that motivated you, Kurt Schlichter, to write both of these books?
I just wanted to tell a story about what I thought would happen, and I wanted to have fun. And I wanted something that people would find amusing and interesting. And my gosh, they did. People like the books. I think they're funny. They've got action, and they take you into a world that could very well be if we keep going the way we are.
So it's like I call things doing the logical extension. And so I'm guessing that you were trying to figure out, okay, just like how far will this go? And further, if it does, what is this going to look like? And I think you've captured it brilliantly, absolutely brilliantly. I love it. And the other thing, I'm going to Bigfoot myself because I was going to ask you this towards the very end. In the most recent book, Indian Country, you are hinting that there's going to be a follow-up book called Wildfire.
I'm about 45,000 words into it.
And it's bringing Kelly Turnbull back.
Oh, he's back.
And I can't wait.
He's back, and more Turnbull-esque than ever. More adventure, more action, more making fun of liberal insanity. Remember, that half the country's turned into a giant college campus.
Yes, yeah, just a little bit more deadly with police that are stupid on the left-hand side. Let's stop for a second, if I could. I customarily ask people that have been here for the very first time this question, and that's this: what have been some of the most pivotal points in your life? As an example, for me, there were 3. One of them when I decided that I was going to go into law enforcement. The other one was when I got into my critical incident and my shooting. And the third was continuing on with my career. But what I mean is this. Pivotal points can be summarized by your life kind of going in one direction, and then suddenly, you didn't see it coming, without any kind of warning, something interrupts and places you on a brand new track, one that you didn't see coming. So in consideration of that, are there any pivotal points in your life where you just went back and you went, yeah, okay, I get it. I'm going to be doing this now?
Gosh, I've always been fairly deliberate. I always kind of had an idea of what was going to happen. I knew eventually I'd be writing books and stuff. I don't have any real things that took me off in like a completely different direction. I mean, I have moments during the plan where something came up and I seized an opportunity. But I never, suddenly, gosh, now I'm a lawyer. I might go to law school after the Army. It seems relatively safe and lucrative. I'll probably do that, and maybe I'll do some other things. But I'll still keep writing. But no, I kind of feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be.
That's beautiful.
I want more money like everybody else. But...
Let me ask you this then. I am a political animal. You're a political animal. Our eyes were opened. When was it, do you think, that you kind of, or was it gradual, or did you just wake up one day and you said, you know what, I need to acknowledge what I am. I'm a political animal, and I am more self-aware than anybody else about what goes on around me?
Well, that's kind of true. I always kind of knew I was, but Andrew Breitbart kind of forced me into writing again.
Ah, okay.
Right?
You were one of the first people to get onto Breitbart, weren't you?
When he did Big Hollywood, he dragged me in fairly early, about the same time Larry O'Connor. And, Andrew was I've never met anyone like him. He was really a remarkable guy. And he was just such a visionary. He just understood what was going on in such a clear way. And he nurtured talent. And I was doing other things. I mean, I was paying attention to politics, but I wasn't really participating in it. And there was no way to really do it on the net at that time. They didn't have Twitter until about the same. I got on Twitter about the same time I got on with Andrew.
Okay.
But there was no place like Breitbart that was basically sucking up talent and just saying, hey, you guys, I mean, look at the guys who started at Breitbart. Ben Shapiro, Larry O'Connor, me, Derek Hunter. I mean, a lot of these guys got their start with Andrew, who are now still the rebel conservatives. We're not the National Review guys, and I like a lot of the National Review guys, and some of them I think are tools. And we're not the Weekly Standard guys because we've made love to women. And we're just, Dana Lash. There's just this whole crew that kind of came out of the Breitbart side, and there's a lot of resentment against us. And part of the reason is, we have just utter contempt for these sissies, and we don't hide it. The thing is, we didn't grow up respecting the paradigm. There's this whole, a career course in the Washington D.C. kind of beltway vibe that you're supposed to go through. You work here, you work there, and eventually you'll get your once every couple month thing with George Stephanopoulos, and that's who you are. And we just have contempt for it. I'm not impressed because somebody worked at Heritage. In fact, I look at a lot of these guys and I'm like, frick, I'm a trial lawyer. I can buy and sell you. I'm not impressed by you. You've never been in the Army. You've never started a business. You're just a fucking loser. I do your fucking job writing on the side better than you do.
There's somebody,
and the people who get that, and there are a number of us who have that reaction. And it's not that we think we're so great. It's we're wondering why these guys think that we should somehow defer to them. Fuck you. I'm not going to defer to you.
No.
I live in Los Angeles. I'm supposed to be some kind of hick. And it's like, dude, you're not even on my fucking radar. I drive a car that costs more than your fucking house.
There's a guy in chat who says, "Hey, tell Kurt that he's missing somebody." And I said, "Okay, so it's Jeff Dunitz. Jeff Dunitz is in chat."
Oh God, I love Dunitz. I was talking to him the other day,
saying, "Hey, tell Kurt he's missing somebody here."
Oh no! I'm doing a show. I just talked to him yesterday. The thing is, and we built these connections too. A lot of the guys who are out there writing, a lot of us are personal friends. I just sent a message to Ace of Spades while we were talking on here. And it's not like it's an exclusive club. We are literally people who came up at the same time.
Yep.
So it's not like, all these guys who got these writing gigs are among them. No. We're friends because we're literally friends. We started out the same way, and we know each other. And it's just I think, and we work together. I read, for instance, everything Derek Hunter writes, and vice versa. We'll share our stuff before it goes out. In fact, he's read the town hall that I'm going to send off after I finish with you. I'm going to send off for Thursday. He's read it. I mean, we are trying to do quality stuff, for the audience.
So, folks,
but we don't consider ourselves separate from or better than, because for one thing, Andrew Breitbart didn't. Andrew Breitbart didn't have any arbitrary distinction about people who are, bigger name writers rather than smaller name writers. He would sit and spend an hour with a guy who had a podcast that reached literally 2 people, making that guy better. And that guy may now have a radio show or a writing gig, or maybe even be in politics.
I miss Andrew Breitbart. I miss what he represented.
Yep.
I would love to have him back. What an incredible, incredible guy. But I got to get back to, you are absolutely correct when you draw the bottom line, and that's this. And you've said it in any number of articles, and you're going to continue to say it. I think, and this is why I agree with you when I read you, it's a binary choice anymore. And the leftists, Democrats, and the American media maggots have dragged us kicking and screaming, or perhaps not, into making this choice. And it's this: either we win or they win.
Absolutely.
There is nothing else. And so these simpering, prancing little people like George Will, whose sensibilities are offended because, well, we just used an F word, or we just used an S word, and we don't jump in to all the various cruises, etc. I don't care about that. I really don't.
And nor should you. The thing is, there were a lot of so-called conservatives who were never conservative. What they were is, conservative was their label.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. My role is being the conservative. I will go through the motions, but my real objective is not conservative change. It is to secure my power and position and prestige within the Washington, D.C., New York paradigm. And they went on for a long time, and they would feed us. They thought they could feed the beast, but they didn't realize that we were hungry for more than just a taste of red meat. We wanted victory. So you can write your articles about, guess what this horrible college professor said, and it riles up the roofs. But, eventually we get riled, and we're like, okay, what are you doing about it? And then they're shocked. They're like, well, I wasn't really serious about, conservative change. That's, would you like a cruise cabin?
I had a civics teacher named Mr. Helms in junior high school, and the only thing that I remember from junior high school was this sentence that he told me, and it's true then and it's true today, and I'd like your input on it to see if you would agree, and that's this: Democrats don't win elections, Republicans lose them. I never forgot that, ever.
No, I think you're correct. And if you look at the Republicans right now, look at this Troy Balderson guy, right, in Ohio right. 12. He barely ekes out this victory. in a 11-plus district. Why? State senator for 15, 20 years. So the people know him. But he's in with the case at Crew. He's, shoveling the same pablum that they all have. Where is the guy addressing the real issues that need addressed? That's what Donald Trump did. Donald Trump found a void. No one else would talk about the problems of immigration. Now, we've already established that you and I are not anti-immigration, but there are consequences for immigration that they have to be dealt with. And when your idea of how to deal with it is to call people racist more for being upset that MS-13 is whacking people on the street, okay, you are going to get people upset. And people who are upset vote for people like Donald Trump. And and people are upset out there. They don't know. They understand instinctively that Troy Balderson will go to Washington and he will do what Paul Ryan says. And I want somebody like Jim Jordan who will say, "Fuck you.
Yes.
I'm going to do what you guys want." I don't work for Paul fucking Ryan. I don't work for the fucking Republicans. I work for the people of Ohio 12. And that's how you win. That's how you win. And these guys a lot of these guys, look, 90% of people are sheep. Okay?
Unfortunately, you're correct.
You have a small group that are leaders. Some are leaders for good, some are leaders for bad. Now, you were in law enforcement. When you saw a group of 10 shitheads, your eye went to figure out who was the lead shithead. Right? Because he was the first guy you were going to take out if you had to put him down.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay? When I was running an anti-armor company, okay, what's the first tank I was going after? It's the one with the fucking radio area.
It's the command and whoever's in charge of command and control. And you're right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay? People, and it's not a criticism of people who don't want to lead. A lot of people don't for a lot of reasons, and some people just don't have it inside them. But those of us who do have to stand up and freaking lead. Like I said in one of my articles, the motto of the infantry is follow me. It's not you guys go on up ahead.
Well, it's like Obama. Did you not go nuts when he had the temerity to actually say that his belief was twofold? Again, it's binary. He believed in leading from behind. Are you fucking kidding me? And the second one was strategic patience. That told you everything you needed to know about Barack Obama.
Patience is not a strategy. Patience is a tactic. There was a huge misunderstanding within the entire Obama administration between strategy and tactics. Their strategy was weakness and decline. That was the choice they made. All the tactics that they employed supported that strategy.
Yes.
Tactics are the bricks. Strategy is the wall. God, I wish I thought of that when I was in frickin' war college. I would have got an A. You know?
It's so damn good. You're writing it down right now, though.
I know, man. It's good stuff. But no, I just, everybody's got a strategy. It's just a lot of people won't admit it. Their strategy was decline. They wanted their goal when they left office was America in a weakened position around the world so it could have less influence. That is their strategic goal, and boy, they made it happen. And Trump's is exactly the opposite. Drives them nuts. Trump exercises the elements of national power, which are diplomatic, information, military, and economic, and he exercises them ruthlessly, like a leader should. Trump would be a great general if he, had the military training and maybe a little more discipline. Let's not fool ourselves. Trump is not perfect. No one is.
No.
Reagan wasn't.
No. Here's the deal. Just like you, did you decide from the very get-go when the 17 dudes were up there, did you say, hey, that guy with the dead orange cat on his head, he's my guy from the very outset?
No,
he wasn't my guy.
Absolutely the opposite.
He wasn't my guy at all.
I was a Cruz guy, and I thought we'd lose.
Bingo. Thank you. Oh, gee, I knew there's another reason that I liked you. Ted Cruz was my guy, but I was dragged kicking and screaming into the Donald Trump club. And
look, we're team players. Look, we got in. And there was a fair and square competition, and
Yes.
freaking Donald Trump won my party's nomination. And
Yep.
I'm not a whiny little bitch, okay? At that point, you shut the fuck up, and you fall in. And that's what you do. I can imagine there'd be a circumstance where I wouldn't, but Donald Trump, no matter what the liberals and the wuss-cons say, was not that situation.
No, he's not that guy for me.
Yeah, I had a lot of I wrote a lot of very tough articles about Donald Trump. A lot of people believed in him before I did. I don't think I was wrong. I came around to Donald Trump when he proved himself. A lot of people came to Donald Trump on faith. So I don't feel, gosh, I was such an idiot. I wasn't an idiot. I was doing my due diligence. He proved himself. He said he would do X, and you know what? He's done X. He does what he said. This is revolutionary.
It's
when is the last time you had a
unprecedented.
Republican who did what he freaking? You think Troy Balderson will do what he says? Troy Balderson will do what he's told. And I'm not anti-Troy. I'm glad he won by, 50 fucking votes or something. But he shouldn't have. And the people in Ohio, why would you turn out? The interesting thing is all the Democrats are turning out, but it's the Trump people who aren't. So Democrats are peaking. They're doing as good as they're going to do. That's why I'm not sure there's going to be a blue wave. There could be. But I think the Democrats are peaking. But it's the Trump guys who aren't excited because a lot of these candidates are not promising to get in and fight for their people. And that's what they want.
We got about 3 more minutes before the top of the hour, and we're going to have to go. However, you brought up an excellent point, and I want to see if I can tickle your brain about this. You already alluded to it, but November is coming. The leftists, Democrats, and American media maggots are all saying it's going to be not just a blue wave, it's going to be a blue tsunami. And I would say, guess what? I beg to differ. I know the number of seats that are up for bid and being challenged. I understand that's a fairly hefty number, but I'm curious what you think about just a couple of months away, about that November, those midterms.
I think we're going to do well in the Senate. I don't know how we're going to do in the House. It is entirely possible that individuals, it's 435 separate fights.
Yes.
And you get like that Corbello guy in Florida, for instance, super gimp. And he's going to get wasted because he's just such a leftist that the Republicans are going to go, why the fuck am I going to get up to vote for this asshole? And they each have the capacity to lose. They need to part of the problem is the Republican establishment is desperately trying to retain its power by putting in candidates that it thinks are going to be controlled when this whole Trump thing fades out. But they don't understand that the nature of the Republican Party has changed. The nature of the Democrat Party is also changing, as we saw by that gap-toothed freak from Brooklyn.
Oh, right, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the person that can't seem to manage to keep her damn eyes shut.
Yeah, I need her in power.
Right.
But you know, the party is changing. The base has changed, and the establishment. You know, establishments you're always conservative about things you know about. So the liberals are very conservative about their own political power and about how they run their organization. Same with that's the most conservative thing about the Republican Party is how conservative it is about not wanting to change what it does. But the fact is, Trump is here because the base has changed. This is not a phase. This is not a fad.
No, it
isn't. And technology has changed things because Twitter allows us to keep our eyes on these motherfuckers every single day. We don't have to wait till a newspaper comes out. We don't have to wait till we get every 2 weeks get a National Review in the mail. Every day, we've got politics right in front of us.
Yep.
Because I remember that was how it was 20 years ago.
Yes, it was.
I didn't know what was going on until I got my National Review.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we have had the distinct honor and pleasure of speaking with Kurt Schlichter. He is a man of multiple and continuing talents. And I got to pump his new book again. His new book, Militant Normals, How Regular Americans Are Rebelling Against the Elite to Reclaim Our Democracy, is being released in hardback on October 2nd. I will be buying a copy, and you should too. So, Kurt Schlichter, where can folks find you and read you and or find you on social media?
Find me on Town Hall twice a week,
okay,
on Monday and Thursday. You can find me at the Rebel Media every Thursday evening at 6 o'clock California time. You should subscribe to the Rebel so you can hear me. I had a great interview with Nick DiPaolo today.
Okay, great.
That's amazing. And my Twitter account, and then you must go get Militant Normals and pick up People's Republic and Indian Country. Fun reads. They're all fun.
Well,
conservatism doesn't have to be a bitter, sullen death slog.
No.
Okay?
It's not the...
Look, I'm sick of these people treating us like we're not the cool kids. We are the fucking cool kids.
Yes,
we're
we
fun.
are. That's right, because we're cool before it was cool to be cool. That's exactly who we are.
Well, the people who keep telling me I'm not cool are the kind of people I give wedgies.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, in retrospect, look at what you've accomplished to this point in your life, and, go back and look at some of the other people that you happen to go through high school with, and I think you'll probably find a pretty distinct difference. So, Kurt Schlichter, thank you ever so kindly for being here tonight. Kurt, you are always welcome back at any time for any reason, and thank you for taking an entire hour with us.
I know, man. We were only going to do one segment, but you sucked me in.
You dragged me in, and I can't get out anymore.
Michael Corleone, which is better than being a Fredo-Con.
I know. Hey, speaking of which, a Fredo-Con, I don't know if people know what that is, but I thought I'd play this so people do have an idea of what a Fredo-Con is.
I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody says. Like dumb, I'm smart, and I want respect.
That's actually Bill Crystal.
Yeah.
That's actually his voice.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, it's a little... Well, I mean, it sounds deeper than it really is, but that's his voice.
Kurt, thank you ever so kindly for being on tonight. I really appreciate it, sir.
All right, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll have to do it again. God bless you, sir. Take care. You be safe.
Yeah. Adios.
Adios. Oh.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny, on shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, every Wednesday, live and direct on the SHR Media Network, shrmedia.com. Be there.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplanestalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's no surrender ever, because truth is not always pleasant.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
Hey, who's going to take Sean's chair?
I'll run the buttons if you want.
The what?
The slider
what?
thingies. Those
what?
things.
We have those?
Yeah, right over there.
Where?
It's on the board. That damn technology.
Fucking technology.
I know. What are we going to call it?
Call what?
The show.
What?
The show.
What show?
The new show, Wednesdays. Every Wednesday on SHRmedia.com. 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. Sackheads.
Against tyranny.
There you
Against
go.
Against tyranny.
I like that. Let's do it.
You guys are porked.
Hello, I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I had one of the most fun hours in radio that I've had in quite some time. We just got through speaking to Kurt Schlichter. He's an author, a columnist, retired Army colonel, served in Kosovo, commanded tanks in Afghanistan, served his country, a great conservative, has a new book coming out shortly called Militant Normals. That was one hell of a time, and I just got through texting to Kurt and said, thank you very, very much. I said, now that was some fun kind of shit. Thank you quite kindly. And for those people who may be upset that there were a few F and S words, it's not like I don't warn you when I put out the promos for these things. Caution, explicit. Then I have to say, maybe I should try to clean up my potty mouth now and then, but it kind of comes with the area. I was in law enforcement for 41 years, and a lot of those people are not necessarily angels, and we do tend to see a lot of crap, just like the people that serve in the military happen to see a lot of crap. Maybe that doesn't excuse it, but it's kind of ingrained in what it is that I've done, where I am. I apologize to those. I try to apologize up front that this is kind of what you're going to be getting when you get the Saloon. This kind of is concomitant with that. So if it tended to offend anyone, I am sorry, but you pretty much kind of know what you're getting before you get here. I will make an attempt, let me put it this way, to try to tamp down my words. I used to say quarter in a hat because when we were out in patrol in the 70s, we had a sergeant that if you weren't wearing your hat when you got out of the car, you put a quarter into his hat at the end of the shift. And if this specific sergeant heard you on a call say an F or an S word, then you put a quarter in his hat times however many words he happened to hear you say at the end of watch. So that's where my phrase quarter in a hat comes from. Because even as a reserve, I ended up placing any number of quarters in his specific hat. He was the only dude that was kind of into that. I got it. He had rules, and you had to follow them. Now, that having been said, do you think that I am going to transfer into this? And the answer would be, yeah, probably.
It's time for happy stories and good times.
Here's a great happy story, and I happen to get this from Texas Fred, who is in the chat room right now, and it's from personaldefenseworld.com. The headline goes like this: Pennsylvania pizza driver shoots would-be robber. And this is by Personal Defense World. A Pennsylvania pizza driver shot and killed an attacker after being stabbed and even called the police himself before going to the hospital. Now, if that ain't some kind of a resolute, strong dude, I don't know exactly
Police
who
say
is.
that a pizza delivery driver was attacked and stabbed as a man tried to rob him in Beaver Falls.
But the delivery man defended himself. Police say he pulled out a gun and shot and killed the robber. Amy Wattis has the story.
This is the car the Domino's pizza delivery man was driving, surrounded in evidence markers. Amanda Blackwell heard commotion outside of this apartment on 2nd Avenue in Beaver Falls just after midnight Friday.
I heard the gunshot up from my bedroom, and I came downstairs and watched him call 911. Went over to ask him if he was okay. He told me he didn't know, but he told me to go back in the house till the cops came.
Blackwell lives across the street from where the shooting took place. Elise Clark was in apartment 3, the apartment the pizza was delivered to.
It was my boyfriend's roommate who ordered the pizza, and she just went out there, she gave him the money, everything seemed fine.
But everything wasn't fine. When the pizza delivery driver walked back to his car, police say a man in his late 30s tried to rob him, then stabbed the driver.
As of now, we confirmed that the actual ordering of the pizza was not connected to the actual robbery.
Police believe the pizza delivery driver managed to grab a gun he kept in his car and shot the man. After the attacker was shot, he ran almost a block down the street, collapsed right here on these steps, and that's where police found him dead.
I heard him call help for help. He said, help, help.
Tony Pope, who lives next door.
Oh, wait, the pizza delivery or the attacker died?
Saw the man pass out on these steps and watched him die.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
That's sad.
I just wish I don't have no nightmares over it.
This street has never been like this. I've lived here for 5 years, and this is the first time this craziness has happened.
It is unclear if the pizza delivery driver will face any charges. In Beaver Falls, Amy Wattis, KDKA TV News.
And that's a happy story, and you know why. Now, in promoting this show, where's my manners? I got all wrapped up in Kurt Schlichter, and I should remember my manners, but I'm sorry. I apologize. I mostly wanted to talk to Kurt. I wanted to make sure that the phone, we had a little bit of a phone issue at the very beginning. So I'm sorry. I'd like to say hello to Joe, Jersey Joe, Andy Wood, Mike, Whiskey Dale, Fred, Dave, and guest 5718, and of course, Beantown Billy. In promoting this show, again, thanks to Kurt Schlichter for the first hour. I haven't laughed like that in quite some time. I told folks in the second hour that we're going to go into why California is insane. And California is essentially insane. Because California right now already excuses rape, drugs, and burglary. And is it soon to excuse murder? Well, of course, BZ. People who hear me say that can't be correct, except that, well, yeah, it is correct. California currently excuses, and I'm going to go into some detail, because this is detail that I've wanted to extrapolate and indicate in quite some time. You people need to know exactly what's occurring in California, specifically, if for no other reason, to make sure that it doesn't happen in your state. California is a leftist petri dish. You can't let any of that crap bleed over into your state. You have to do your level best, and I'm going to tell you how these things occur, and you have to keep a watch on your politicians to make sure that they don't try to pull this same crap, which is why this story that I'm telling you is important to me. It's important to California. It's important to California denizens, and it should be equally important to you, because California, as I've said for quite some time, exists solely as an example of what the fuck not to do with your state. So this is a cautionary tale, and I'm going to go into the details because the devil is in the detail. These are things I'll wager you may actually be slightly shocked when I tell you some of the things that likely you've not heard about California and the various bills and the propositions, Prop 47, Prop 57, AB 1810, ad nauseum. So this is a journey. This is a ride. And I want you to come on this journey with me. It's correct, though. California currently excuses some cases of rape, and by way of a grand new bill that was in fact signed by the addled Governor Jerry Brown himself, whom the CHP deigns to let out in public only on certain monitored days of lucidity. By way of this bill, California may end up excusing murder. They've laid all the groundwork themselves by way of, like I indicated, AB 1810. We're going to go into that later. But where, you may ask, where does California get the idea to excuse murder? Let's go out of the country just for a second, because this is an excellent example. Would it shock you if I were to suggest that maybe it was Canada? Is this headline sufficiently startling for you? This is from the VancouverCourier.com. And this is, I'm reading directly from the headline. Strangling off-duty cop gave killer PTSD. Defense tells the sentencing judge. This is out of Halifax. A lawyer for a Halifax man who strangled an off-duty police officer argues that his mental illness brought on by the murder should be a mitigating factor in deciding his parole eligibility. Do you see any kind of a weird circadian loop in that? I kind of do. Leftists wouldn't. Christopher Garnier, 30, was convicted in December of second-degree murder and interfering with a dead body in the 2015 death of a 36-year-old Catherine Campbell. The jury found that Garnier strangled Campbell, a Truro police officer, and used a compost bin to dump her body near a harbor bridge on September 11th of 2015 after the pair met at a Halifax bar. The murder conviction carries an automatic life sentence, but a hearing to determine when Garnier will be able to apply for parole is scheduled for Monday in the Nova Scotia Supreme Court. In submissions filed with the court, defense lawyer Joel Pink, sometimes words and names mean something, said his client was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder by a psychiatrist hired by the defense, Dr. Stephen Hucker, and by the psychologist who is currently treating him. The event that brought on the PSD is the murder itself. Well, I'm sure leftists are thinking right now, and certainly people in the state of California, what a novel idea. Leftists galloping under their little purple cloud skies, clutching their safety pins, unicorns, and their Tide Pods. Now, okay, novel indeed. Let's examine, and I'm moving in this direction for a reason, let's examine some of California's past bills and propositions that ably assist the realm's proud acquisition of, essentially, California is the #1 shithole state. What an accomplishment. An amazing accomplishment, okay? First came Proposition 47. Now, I need to make this statement. There may be some of you who are listening and you live in states where there is no such thing as a proposition system. In a proposition system in California, if you gather enough votes, I forget the number, I think it's at least 175,000. If you gather a sufficient number of votes and then you turn it over to an attorney, you can craft a proposition and get it, you run it through a committee, and then you can get it placed on the November ballot, and the citizens of the state vote yay or nay on that proposition. So California does in fact have a proposition. If it tends to run conservative, then the California state judges vote that shit down. So first came Proposition 47. And now that you know what a proposition is in the state of California, it was approved by California's idiot voters in 2014. So yeah, I'm talking to anybody and everyone who voted to shoot common sense in the head and continue to do that. Now, otherwise known in the California criminal justice system, man, yeah, there is justice for criminals in California, just not for victims. Known in the criminal justice system as we called it realignment. And it placed the onus for housing and caring for hundreds and hundreds of serious felons, thousands actually, many of whom had done time, for example, in Pelican Bay's SCHU, which is the most evil prison that we have in the state for the worst criminals. People who've done time in the SCHU for, say, multiple murders of prison staff and other inmates. We took them, those inmates, from those types of facilities, from secure state facilities, and we placed them into entirely unprepared county facilities, low-grade county facilities, like the one that was in my county that is still there, whose antiquated designs were, they're better suited to house like drunks and batterers, warrant violators, and the like. Only just a few jails, like those in L.A. County, for example, had the ability to house extremely violent offenders temporarily. And that space, as with space all around all 58 counties, was limited. So limited, this is a great story that I guarantee you've not heard. Space in jails in California is so limited that operating under a consent decree, I hope you're sitting down for this one, because this is novel. This is a unique idea. Okay, operating under a consent decree, a number of County of Los Angeles buses and the County of Los Angeles Sheriff's Department has a big fleet because they're moving inmates all around all around the United States and also all up and down the state of California, inmates that have to appear for jail visits and court visits all up and down California. So what they did is, because they were operating under this consent decree, they stashed an assload of buses and filled them to capacity with inmates, and they constantly drove them around L.A. in order to avoid being accused under that self-same consent decree of violating the decree indicating the maximum number of inmates housed within the jail during certain periods of times. I shit thee not. It was basically a 24/7 inmate bus tour of L.A. environs. So yeah, the jail was overcrowded, but because of the consent decree, they just decided they're going to bus inmates around for quite some time. Okay, we're talking about Proposition 47. Prop 47 reduced these crimes to misdemeanors specifically. Now, here's the challenge. You have to look very carefully and very hard to find out anything very specific about any of these propositions or the bill, because I wanted to find out exactly what crimes were affected. So Proposition 47, voted by the electorate in California, Prop 47, reduced these crimes to misdemeanors. California Penal Code 484, shoplifting or attempted shoplifting where the value of property does not exceed $950. $950. So if it's $950 or lower that somebody stole, that's the value of it, it's a misdemeanor. It's not a felony. Penal Code Section 487, grand theft, where the value of the property does not exceed $950. It's a misdemeanor. Penal Code Section 496, receiving stolen property, where the value of the property doesn't exceed $950. Forgery, where the value of a forged check or a bond or a bill doesn't exceed $950. That's a misdemeanor. 476A, fraud or writing a bad check, where the value of the fraudulent check or the draft or the order doesn't exceed $950. And then, you're going to love this one. Health and Safety Code 11377, possession of methamphetamine, possession of 11350, possession of controlled substances, and 11357A, possession of concentrated cannabis, simple possession for personal use of most illegal drugs. And we know about dope. It's not illegal anymore. And the rest of those things, like meth, it's a misdemeanor. Okay, so check this out as well. Proposition 47 also added a new misdemeanor section to the Penal Code, 459.5. So shoplifting, entering a commercial establishment during regular business hours with intent to commit a theft where the value does not exceed $950, or the intent to commit larceny doesn't exceed that amount, that's now a misdemeanor. So if you could, prior to Prop 47, prove the intent to steal, that is to say, you caught somebody that was shoplifting and they had a bag, a boost bag, to put stuff in under their coat, Initially, you could charge a felony under 459 PC, burglary. No more. So if you were charged with any one of those crimes and you were eligible under Prop 47, then you were charged with a misdemeanor. And this is what it means. The conviction doesn't carry state prison time, as a felony conviction does. Misdemeanor convictions carry 6 months to a year. That's the maximum amount of jail time. And with probation, of course, no jail time may be warranted at all. So what that is, let me do the translation for you, just in case you didn't do it yourself. And that's this: a thief can steal something valued under $950 on a daily damn basis, or maybe an hourly basis, and it will never rise to felony status. You want real world and real world problems? Hey, here's real world right here. This is from an article in San Francisco. Every bicycle in our building has been stolen, says Karen Burns, president of a San Francisco condo association. I've caught so many people stealing packages. They don't care. They know nothing will happen to them. It's crazy. It's horrible. I feel like these people need to go to jail. Proposition 47 didn't stop with theft. The personal use of illegal drugs was also reclassified to a misdemeanor. Although the intent may have been kind, it's cruel to punish people for having an addiction, and practical. They'll emerge from prison hardened, and a felony on their record makes it more difficult to reintegrate into society. The downstream impact on the community at large has been absolutely disastrous. In San Francisco, for example, shooting up in public is commonplace, whether it's on the steps of City Hall in San Francisco, in front of a supermarket, or at the entrance to a child's playground. Maybe you guys heard this video. It's true then, and it's absolutely true now.
News demanding answers about this video. Drug addicts openly shooting up inside a BART station. We take it to the people in charge to ask, how could you let it get this bad? Appalling, no excuse.
Yeah, the answer is it's San Francisco and it's California. Enough said. Move on.
Those are some of the reactions to the video that we first showed you yesterday.
But what is BART actually going to do about it? KPIX5's Wilson Walker went to the BART board meeting to push for some answers. What'd you find out, Wilson?
Well, right now, our entire region is struggling to find answers for an explosion of homelessness and cheap, powerful narcotics. And if you're BART...
Okay, this is how stupid these cockbites are. They can't figure out why the area is attracting homeless people and drug users. Wow, this is beyond us. Why would this happen to us? We're good people.
Well, you are not immune to the problems in the communities you serve.
You know, this is a very sobering video to see. I'm frankly glad that the writer has shared this.
That is Bevan Duffy, the BART director responsible for Civic Center Station, scene of the video we have been showing you.
We're losing some riders, and I know it's because of these circumstances, and so we're going to work very...
Let me ask you a question. Just one question. Do you think that it's even remotely possible that this administrative piece of crap had no idea that people were shooting up in public, in their walkways, in the BART train stations? No one had ever told him about that, and no one had ever suggested to him in any way, shape, or form that, you know what, dude, I think you might have a problem? Is that possible?
Very hard to see a change.
What would it take to have one person around the clock to prevent that kind of scene?
Well, obviously staffing.
This is Lieutenant Gil Lopez, the BART police officer who oversees patrols in San Francisco's 4 downtown stations.
Here in downtown specifically, we have our beat structures are essentially 2 officers for 2 stations.
Now Lopez, like BART management, says there simply are not enough officers right now to manage the flood of challenges produced by homelessness and drugs, 2 disasters unfolding on parallel tracks just above these stations.
It's too wide.
Okay, here's what you're missing. Here's what you're not seeing. In that video, as they're talking, there are people. There was one guy literally standing in the middle of the hallway, stooped over with a needle sticking out of his arm. As people are walking by, there are people laying down in pools of vomit, again, with needles sticking out of their arms. The hallway itself is strewn with used needles.
Widespread, like I say, the officers here, they're busy every day.
Nearby shelter resident Maurice Benton says he has watched the situation deteriorate as officers race from one problem to the next, meaning some stations are often left completely unguarded.
This is the first time I have ever seen them here, and I've come through here at different times of the day, and this is my first time ever seeing them.
BART is trying to hire dozens of more employees.
Right.
specifically for these kinds of issues, but that is presenting another problem for the agency.
BART has not been the most attractive place for candidates to be police officers to go, and we're trying to change that.
So for now, the city is trying to offer help?
Yes, I have seen homeless outreach people come down here to offer services.
But so far, both the city and BART have proven no match for a human crisis that offers no easy solutions. Has this problem just gotten markedly worse recently?
Yes, it has.
I know that riders want to see more visible presence that is a deterrent.
And what you're missing on the video is, in fact, the guy that's taking this video, as all these pieces of human flotsam are littering the hallway, people are having to step over them because they actually have places to go. On BART, trains to catch. They're working, producing people. Otherwise, they're probably going to work and they've got things to do and people to see and obligations to meet.
And, I just want people to know that this is a high priority to us as BART and to me as the director that is responsible for this station.
Now, one little change that we might see coming out of this, we've run all this video by BART, the police have looked at it, and one thing they've noticed, that the consistency of the timing of those problems, they think it might be driven by some shift changes with employees that happen right after those stations open in the morning. They're going to look at that and see if they can get some more consistent staffing around Civic Center and avoid that problem. We will keep an eye on it and we will keep you posted. Wilson Walker, KPIX 5.
Right, that's the issue. The only issue is shift changes. So let's see, if we can just do something about the shift changes, then we can solve the problem with homelessness and doing drugs in public and making sure that people don't step on needles from people that may have TB and other diseases. What a great and wonderful idea. What a great and wonderful city is San Francisco, right?
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On SHRmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. SHRmedia.com. Be there.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m., Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through SHRmedia.com, HighPlainsTalkRadio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on BlogTalkRadio.com. There's no surrender ever, because truth is not always pleasant.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on SHRmedia.com.
Hey, who's going to take Sean's chair?
I'll run the buttons if you want.
The what?
The slider thingies.
The
Those
what?
things.
We have those?
Yeah, right over there.
Where?
It's on the board. That damn technology.
Fucking technology.
I know. What are we going to call it?
Call what?
The show.
What?
The show.
What show?
The new show, Wednesdays. Every Wednesday on SHRmedia.com. 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. Sackheads.
Against tyranny.
There you
Against
go.
tyranny.
I like that. Let's do it.
You guys are porked. Hello. I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the Saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you're listening to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct, where I broadcast behind enemy lines in occupied California. From the sumptuous, as you can clearly see, sumptuous and palatial SHR Media Network studios, where we are 2 miles from the locus of evil, the Capitol building, the Bill Mill of the state of California, Sacramento, 2 miles that way. Right, that way. Thanks again to Kurt Schlichter for being on the air with us, with me. The first hour, Kurt, was a great interview. Now, since the top of the hour, we've been talking about California is really screwed up, and I've been telling you about Prop 47. I'll be telling you about Proposition 57 shortly, because I'm leading to California is about to attempt to excuse murder. It was already given as a reason by Canada because this criminal who killed a cop, hey, you know, you need to show him mercy because he had PTSD, get this, from killing the cop. Yeah, that's when you say AYFKM, and the answer is no, I'm not kidding you. And I was using as an example of putridity in California, San Francisco, and the craziness that's occurring in San Francisco because of just Prop 47. But wait, there's more. Don't believe the studies in California. You gotta believe reality. That was reality. Residents who are experiencing an uptick in so-called low-level crimes in their neighborhoods, they're baffled by studies indicating otherwise. For example, a December 2017 Center on Criminal and Juvenile Justice report shows property crimes are down in California by an average of 18.1% all across the state. Those numbers are false, says Michael Rushford, president of the Sacramento-based Criminal Justice Legal Foundation, a nonprofit public interest law organization. More, not fewer, of these crimes are being committed, but people aren't reporting them. That's why people aren't reporting them. Well, there must be a reason. In most cases, they have to do it online, and they end up not doing it. They don't believe anything's going to happen. They don't believe anything is going to change, so they don't see the point. And they're right. And like I said, but wait, there's more. Certainly, San Franciscans aren't debating whether or not crime is up. They know it is. In January, Police Chief William Scott acknowledged a 24% jump in property crimes from 2016 to 2017. Stop. Despite all these leftist reports from leftist think tanks that are trying to tell you, oh, no, that's just not true at all. Auto break-ins have soared in every district of San Francisco, and the arrest rate for them is an astonishing, hope you're sitting down for this, 1.6%. Citizens are right to feel disgusted and demoralized in areas such as the Tenderloin, which is home for many of the city's low-income immigrants, impoverished senior citizens, and families with young children. Quality of life has deteriorated. Now more than ever, residents and merchants are living with a proliferation of addicts, who roll up their sleeves, inject, and then nod off on the sidewalks or careen down the street and into traffic. To fulfill customer demand, dealers sell packets of powder or pills in plain view of passers-by. There's no reason to hide. Why not shoot up wherever you want? Leave bloody syringes in piles, steal and deal when there are few of, if any, consequences. But there are repercussions, and they're felt by every person, young and old, rich and poor, who is robbed and lives amongst the growing cadre of drug users and dealers, and what it's all done to their neighborhoods. Here's a perfect example. This is something that I found that's a publication from a law firm in California. Ding! Excuse me. That's why I need a producer. That ought to be a hint from a law firm in California. This is an example of how you, as a criminal, you need to profit from Proposition 47. Herman, you're going to love this. Herman is sitting in his car using cocaine, and a police car pulls up behind him. The police see that Herman has 100 grams of cocaine open in addition to the actual cocaine he's using. The officers arrest Herman. Herman is charged and convicted of a felony under Health and Safety Code Section 11350 for simple possession of a controlled substance for personal use. With the felony, Herman serves time in jail, not prison, jail, loses his right to vote, sit on a jury, and has to inform potential employers that he has a felony conviction when applying for jobs. Poor Herman. I'm sorry, that's my sarcastic comment. Poor Herman. Now, after Proposition 47, this again is promotional material from a defense legal firm in California. After Prop 47, same scenario. Herman can only be charged and convicted of a misdemeanor conviction. His diligent attorney is able to negotiate a plea that does not include jail time. At the conclusion of his probation, he will be eligible for an expungement and will not have to inform potential employees that he's been convicted of any crime when applying for jobs. And in this flyer, it says what this means. Simple possession of a controlled substance for personal use under Health and Safety Code Section 11350 is now always charged as a misdemeanor, unless Herman was arrested with scales, baggies, or any other indication that he intended to sell the cocaine in his possession. Regardless of the amount, Herman can only be charged with a misdemeanor offense under Health and Safety Code Section 11350, possession of a controlled substance for personal use. What phrase did you just hear in there? I'll tell you that again. Regardless of amount. It's in the law. So, you know what? Herman can have an entire damned kilo of cocaine in his possession, and it's only a misdemeanor. I mean, hell, Herman will eventually get around to all of that kilo, right? And here's another little bit of reality. A criminal named Samisi Sina said he rejoiced when he first heard about Prop 47. He said he didn't start stealing bicycles until the proposition raised the threshold for a felony theft to $950. Proposition 47, it's cool, Sini said. Like for me, I can go do a commercial burglary and know that if it's not over $900, they'll just give me a ticket and let me go. He was sentenced to rehab 5 times this year, but he didn't show up for a single session. Man, that's a forehead slapper. I never saw that coming, and I'm sure all of the lawmakers in California, they never saw that coming. Okay, in Sacramento County, for example, theft cases, they're not even prosecuted for items under $950 in value. That means, in essence, I'll do the translation. Hey, in Sacramento County, probably with a lot of the other counties as well, you can steal with impunity. Guess what? Property crime skyrocketed. And dope, hell, marijuana is legal now in California, yet California can't manage to acquire a sufficient amount of dope for buyers. And many of those considering official sales, they're having second thoughts due to the regulations, policies, and the massive fees associated with distributors. Licenses for dope easily run up to $75,000 and beyond. California thinks dope is going to be a perennial cash cow. Translated, I'll do the translation for you. the state of California could fuck up selling ice in hell. Okay, we talked about Prop 47. They had another one, Prop 57. So what about it? It was passed by the Walking Dead Californians in 2016. Yet, Propositions 47 crafting was superior to what Californians witnessed in Prop 57, which voters approved, as I indicated, in 2016. This law made it easier for non-violent felons to win parole. But its authors, they failed to do the details, to sweat the details, using an existing overbroad list of nonviolent crimes. Okay, did you know that this is a nonviolent crime? All you women out there who happen to be in California, did you know that this is a nonviolent crime? Rape of an unconscious person and violent child abuse. The worst fears about Prop 57 were confirmed in February when a state judge ruled that the state could not retroactively rewrite the measure in a way that denied possible early release to thousands of violent sex offenders. So what did California do? They released them. I know you're still wondering, okay, what the hell does this have to do with murders in California, BZ, right? Okay, roll with me. We're getting there. This is from NBCLosAngeles.com. Inmates with violent pasts paroled under Prop 57. A number of California prison inmates who committed violent crimes, including stabbings and shootings, have been granted parole under Prop 57's nonviolent parole program, according to records obtained by NBC4. Prop 57, approved by voters in 2016, promised to reduce the state's overcrowded prisons by expanding parole eligibility for nonviolent criminals and by encouraging inmates to take part in rehabilitation therapy and vocational programs. So, what did California do to conform with that? Wait for it. Wait for it. By reducing some more reprehensible crimes from felonies to misdemeanors, right? The proposition purposely changed the definition of a violent crime in California. Hope you're sitting down again, because some violent felonies that are now reclassified as non-violent include rape of an unconscious person or use of a date rape drug, domestic violence, exploding a destructive device with intent to cause injury, and assault with a deadly weapon. Now, do you wonder how long and hard I had to dig deeply to find out those specific crimes? Because all the articles that I initially found on the surface, they would tell you something similar to a host of crimes. But did they ever go into the specific crimes? And right now you're probably thinking to yourself, no, BZ's kidding. No. I'm not kidding. Among crimes not on that list and therefore possibly viewed as nonviolent, assault with force, rape of an unconscious person, battery with serious injury, domestic violence, some child abuse, and exploding a destructive device with intent to commit injury. Those are all nonviolent felonies. I continue to say I'm not kidding. Okay, so finally, I got about 11 minutes left. I think I'm going to be able to make this. So we're starting to finally arrive at my headline reference. Okay, this I found from the San Diego UnionTribune.com. Now, in the worst example of rushed reform yet, Governor Jerry Brown this week signed into law Assembly Bill 1810, a budget trailer bill with no credited author. Stop. I looked through the .gov and the .ca to try to find who really did write this bill. AB 1810, when I tell you its contents. I still, to this hour, I cannot find who authored the bill. It's not in the bill. I wonder, would that be purposeful? I don't know. It takes effect immediately. It includes a provision that appears to allow defendants charged with any crime to get the charges put on hold and perhaps eventually dismissed if they can persuade a judge that the offense resulted from a mental disorder that a mental health expert says is treatable. Maybe initially you're thinking to yourself, that doesn't sound all that bad. Oh, just you wait. A case can be made that a defendant's mental illness should be considered by prosecutors and judges. It's certainly relevant. Senate Bill 215, now before the legislature, would have allowed this in defined, limited circumstances, but instead of vetoing AB 1810 and letting this debate proceed, Governor Brown decided to do this. He was going to short-circuit all of that. He did it despite being warned by San Diego County District Attorney Summer Stephen that this is, quote, the most irresponsible legislation our state has ever seen, and that it would, quote, wreak havoc in our criminal justice system. And I think probably right about now you see where I'm going on this. Any sort of a mental issue can now in California possibly yield some kind of a demented get-out-of-jail-free card. If a defendant in California makes a claim that they committed a specific crime due to some sort of mental health problem, and the judge agrees, they can find themselves eligible for diversion instead of prosecution for that crime. But wait, it gets even better. This is better. The defendant receives whatever counseling is decided to be appropriate, and once they're declared to be better, they don't go back to court to stand trial for the offense. Oh, no. Their record gets sealed, and they walk out of the facility and out of court. It's like a California criminal version of ServPro, like it never happened. So let's go down that list just for clarity's purpose, because, as you know, BZ values honesty and clarity. So because of 1810, here's what we've got. Let's see. No restitution paid by the defendant? Check. No responsibility? Check. No input from the prosecutors at all over any of these cases? Check. No protection of any victim or victims? Check. No chance to question anyone? Check. No chance to even question the psychiatrists who were involved in any of this at all? Check. No justice whatsoever? Double check. Under the law, defendants who fall within the category of mental disorder include those who have the following illnesses. Make note of this. Make a note. Male hypoactive sexual disorder, sexual sadism, voyeurism, pyromania, oppositional defiant disorder, and kleptomania. The language in the bill only stipulates that the defendant substantially comply with diversion to earn a dismissal. Okay, so definitions. What's the standard for substantial? You will never know, as his or her record was expunged by a judge who gave this person an incredible break by allowing this 2-year diversion program. Questions like these are unanswered in 1810, so diversion. Where? In a custodial facility? In an open-style halfway house in the community? At home? So let's examine those disorders and some of the things that I guess you could claim that you should be able to get away with, right? Because it says so in AB 1810. So you could rape or kill, or both, a female because you have male hypoactive sexual disorder. You could beat women unconscious, incapacitate them, penetrate them, commit mayhem because you have sexual sadism. Women could beat men in the same fashion, I guess. Perfect reversal. We're all equal, after all. And you could peep into windows or expose yourself to children because you have voyeurism. But hey, why stop there? Why limit yourself? You could climb inside the house and you could kill everyone there. Or you could set fires or wildfires resulting in billions of dollars in damage, thousands of acres scorched, vegetation and trees eliminated, the air fouled for weeks and weeks with countless burning deaths because you have pyromania. Or you could kill cops or anyone in any kind of an authority position. Maybe politicians are judges as well, because you have oppositional defiant disorder. You could steal anything and everything from now into perpetuity because you have kleptomania. Now you go to that little article that I was talking about earlier, where that guy said that he had PTSD. A lawyer for a Halifax man who strangled an off-duty police officer argues that his mental illness brought on by the murder should be a mitigating factor in deciding his parole eligibility. Now, I told you about Prop 47, and I told you about Prop 57, and I told you about AB 1810. AB 1810 is not a pie-in-the-sky bill. It's law. It was signed. It's here already. Hell, there may be California, state of California, there may be even an app for that. This is dangerous beyond dangerous. Insane beyond insane. In a state that's already manic depressive and is refusing to take its fucking meds. If anybody thought California politicians actually possessed brains, I gotta disabuse you of that execrable notion right now. Their brains contain like sweetbreads, giblets, and loose marbles. And I'm being really, really kind. I got to say this. Shit is about to get real in California. Because it's here. People aren't just talking about it. It's here already. Pass the popcorn. Okay? And this is my final note to you. As I indicated at the top of the hour, and I've managed to take up almost the entire hour, just about the state of California. I have some advice for you. I hope you take me up on it. Take my advice. Avoid California. Don't come here. Don't visit. Don't drop by to see your Aunt Charisse. Don't come here for a vacation. Stay the hell away from San Francisco. Unless maybe you're interested in carting away some really wild and festering pustule-ridden communicable disease that won't even respond to antibiotics. Don't purchase food grown here. Don't buy any plants or animals raised here. Don't spend any money here. Don't buy anything from the internet if it came from California. And more importantly, do your level best to make sure California keeps its contagious and poisoned thoughts and policies within its own literal pus-ridden borders. And most importantly, import them not. California is a cautionary tale. We exist for a reason. Sometimes states exist as a putrid example of what not to do with what literally was at one time a beautiful, beautiful landscape, damn near a paradise.
Monsieur has unlocked!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thanks for listening to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct right here on the SHR Media Network. If you want to contact me, you can find me on Twitter at BZEP, B-Z-E-P. I got my blog at bloviatingzeppelin.net. There's a new post there every day, sometimes even more. My intro music is by Possessed Tranquility. You can find them at reverbnation.com. Promotional consideration by the Lockheed Martin Skunk Works and the Boeing Company. If it ain't Boeing, I ain't going. And of course by Pratt & Whitney Engines Thrust. You can trust. Tiaras, of course, are by My Little Pony. And also, thanks to my personal KC-135 Kettle One refueling team with whom I will be consorting at the end of this show. Thanks to Kurt Schlichter. Thanks to you for listening live. Thanks to everyone in chat for being in chat. Thanks to folks who listen to me in podcast and those people who are new on Periscope. Tomorrow night, in the afternoon, I should say, Ed Morrissey is going to be on the Jeff Dunnett Show tomorrow on the SHRmedia.com, 11 Pacific, 2 p.m. in the East. God bless. Take care.
Everybody quiet down now and get some sleep.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Ben.
Good night, everyone. Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children. Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
What's going on? I was asleep. What's everybody doing?
Good
Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, and good luck.